Hi guys, I am going over the properties of exponents worksheet. I'm not going to go over the first 6. I feel like we did all of those in class. And we did a lot of the other ones too, but just double check. I'm going to go over all of them anyway so you can double check your answers. And then, sorry, I can't write and say this at the same time. So you can check your answers, and if you get stuck, you can do those answers also. So, properties of exponents. Worksheet. All right. So, let's get started with number 7. A to the 6th power times A to the 3rd power. Since we're multiplying numbers that have the same base, we just add the exponents. So it's going to be A to the 9th power. Number 8, the property here is the power to a power. So we have x to the 5th power squared. And remember, the rule here is if this is happening, you multiply those exponents together. So that's x to the 10th power. Number 9, 4a squared b cubed to the 5th power. So we do the same thing. What might confuse you guys is this 4 here. Just remember, any base number that does not have an exponent, the exponent is 1. So let's just take them one by one. For 4, it's 4, and then I multiply this 1 times 5, so it's 4 to the 5th power. A, I'm going to take the 2, the squared, and multiply it by 5, a to the 10th power. And b, I multiply the 3 times the 5, and I get to the 15th power. You can also reduce it a little bit. I'm not sure if you're reducing it, but you're changing 4 to the 5th power to 1024. A to the 10th power, b to the 15th power. 10x, I think we did most of these, but I'm going to quickly go through these. The division fraction is just division. Remember, the division one is we subtract the exponents if they have the same base. So this is going to be x to the 8 minus 6, which is x squared. 11 is going to be, let's see, x to the 5th divided by x to the 8th. That's going to be x to the 5 minus 8, which is going to give us a negative. So it's going to be x to the negative 3, or you can rewrite that as 1 over x cubed. Okay. 12, x to the 6th over x to the 6th. This is kind of two properties. We have the division, so I'm going to say 6 minus 6, right? But what that turns out to be is x to the 0 power, and that's just 1. So the answer to number 12 is just the number 1. And it makes sense because if you look at x to the 6th on the numerator is exactly the same as x to the 6th on the denominator. If you have the same thing over the same thing, that's a whole. It doesn't matter if it's banana splits or pecan pies. It's going to be 1. Question number 14. Oh, I skipped 13. Sorry, guys. 13. 4a cubed over 2b4 all to the 2nd power. So this has our multiplication, our division properties, and our power to a power property all in one. So I'm going to do what's inside the parentheses first. So I'm going to start with 4 divided by 2 is just 2. Okay? Then I have a cubed, but there's no a on the denominator, so that's just going to stay a cubed. And then I have b to the 4th, but the b to the 4th is on the denominator. So when I write it here on the numerator, I'm going to make it to the negative 4th. You could also write that as 2a cubed over b to the fourth. Either one of those will work, but I feel like the way I did it first is going to be easier because I still have to square that, right? So when we square this, remember the 2 has an exponent of 1. So that's going to be 2 to the 1 times 2. So it's going to be 2 squared. My a, I need to take that 3 and multiply it by 2 to the 6th power. And my b, I need to take this negative 4 and multiply it by 2, and I get negative 8. Okay, you could reduce it a little bit more. 2 squared is obviously 4. A to the 6th, b to the negative 8. Or, finally, you could write 4a to the 6th. And if you put b to the 8th on the denominator, the negative goes away. Okay, so any one of these is the same answer. Okay? All right, what is next? 13. Oh, 14. 14 is 2 cubed x squared all to the 5th power. So I have 2 cubed, so I multiply the 3 times the 5, I get 2 to the 15th power, x to the 10th power. 15, you guys should be getting excellent at this point. To the 4th power, y to the 7th power, all to the negative 3 power. So multiply the 4 times the negative 3, and I get x to the negative 12. And I multiply the 7 times the negative 3, I get x to the negative 21. Now you could also, some of you may have realized this, rewrite this as 1 over x to the positive 12th power times y to the positive 21st power. Those are the same thing. 16, x to the 11th power, y to the 10th power, all over x to the negative 3, y to the negative 1. All right, so we just take it one at a time. X to the 11th minus a negative 3, and y to the 10th minus a negative 1 equals x to the 14 positive, y to the 11 positive. Right? Because when you subtract a negative, it becomes a positive. Or it becomes adding it. It doesn't necessarily become a positive. 17. Negative, oh, this is easy. You guys are going to kick yourselves if you were struggling with this. Negative 3x to the negative 4 comes y to the 0 power. Y to the 0, this is all you have to do. Oops, I didn't realize that had happened. Y to the 0 power is just 1. So I'm going to rewrite this as negative 3x to the negative 4th times 1. Anything times 1 is just itself. So that's just going to be negative 3x to the negative 4th. You could rewrite it, put that x to the negative 4th on the denominator as negative 3 over x to the positive 4th. 18, 5x cubed times y to the 9th, all over 20x squared times y to the negative 2nd power. So let's just take it one at a time. Let's take the numbers out. So 5 over 20 can come out. Then we have, let's try the x's. So x cubed minus 2, right? Because we take the 3 and subtract the 2. And then y to the 9 minus a negative 2 equals 5 over 20. I'm going to reduce that to 1/4 times x. 3 minus 2 is just 1. You don't have to write that one. And y, 9 minus a negative 2 is 11. 19. X to the 5th over x to the negative 2 equals x to the 5th minus negative 2, which is x to the positive 7. You don't have to put that positive there. Next, let's see. Oh, I need to get another piece of paper. So sorry. Number 20 is x to the 5th y squared over x to the 4th y to the 0 power, just one at a time, x to the 5 minus 4, y to the 2 minus 0 equals x to the 1st power. You don't have to write that one. Y squared. X cubed to the 0 power. Anything, no matter what is in here, if it's to the 0 power, my answer is 1. 22. 10x to the 5th y cubed, all to the negative 3. Just take it one at a time. Don't forget that 10 also has an exponent. It's 1. So I need to multiply this 1 times negative 3, then the 5 times negative 3, then this 3 times negative 3. So 10, 1 times negative 3 is negative 3. X, 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. And y, 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. You could leave it like this, or, right, each of those has a negative exponent. You could put them all under 1 and make the exponent positive. Okay. 23. X to the negative 1, y to just 1. X, y to the negative 2. Remember, this x is just a 1. Take it one at a time. It's division, so we're subtracting. So we have x to the negative 1 minus 1. Y to the 1 minus negative 2 equals x to the negative 2. Negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2. Y to the positive 3. You could also write this. Keep the y cubed on top and put the x squared on the denominator. It becomes positive. Both of these are the same thing. 24. 4x squared y to the 5th, all to the negative 2. Remember, this 4 is 1. So 4 to the negative 2nd power, x to the negative 4th, y to the negative 10th. You could also put all of these on the denominator. 1 over 4 squared x to the 4th, y to the 10th. And you could also make that 4 squared 16. That's up to you. 25. Oops, sorry about that. I don't know how to go back and erase that right now. Actually, I'm going to do 25, 26, and 27 on another video because this one's running out of time. So hang on and open the other one.